Trump has arrived in Scotland to talk about his plans for what he claims will be the world's greatest golf course.
And it's going to be done environmentally perfect.
Welcome to Kermode Uncut. I'm here on the Harbour Wall in Shetland at the Screenplay Festival with Anthony Baxter, the director of You've Been Trumped, the documentary about Donald Trump and his activities over in Scotland. The documentary has just played at Screenplay and gone down an absolute storm and got a thumbs up from Bill Forsyth, which is a big vote of confidence. And very soon it's going to be shown on BBC Two, which is probably where most people are going to get to see it because distribution was very difficult in the cinema. Anthony, tell me in brief the story of You've Been Trumped.
Well, it's really the David and Goliath story of Donald Trump coming to Scotland with a plan to build a golf course resort, 1,500 houses, a skyscraper hotel, 2 championship golf courses, on what is supposed to be a protected site, a site of special scientific interest.
The greatest thing I've ever done for the environment is what I'll be doing right here in Aberdeen.
These wilderness environments are our equivalent, if you like, of the Amazon rainforest.
But the Scottish Government was wooed by the ludicrous claims of jobs. 6,000 jobs was the promise that this resort would create, and so it upturned its own strict environmental laws to give Mr. Trump the green light.
The people love what we're doing. They love the fact that I'm creating a lot of jobs.
So the Trump golf course went ahead despite the fact that all the evidence was that it was creating untold damage to the environment and also pushing people out of their homes.
That's right. I mean, every credible environmental organisation in Scotland said this would be a disaster. And then, of course, there are the local people, the residents, who did not want this to happen.
No, this is absolutely horrendous.
We actually just learned that one of them may have built their house on our land.
I mean, all that happening on Michael's land. Trump people. They're horrors.
And these people are, if you like, unlikely environmentalists. They're just people who care passionately about the area in which they live. And they didn't want to see it destroyed and developed for the sake of a few jobs, which is essentially what has happened. It's created a few dozen jobs and that's it. So a far cry from the 6,000 jobs that were promised.
One of the things that your documentary does is it uses clips from Local Hero, which is a dangerous thing because I love Local Hero, but it uses them very well because it makes a comparison in Local Hero, the story of American oil magnates coming over and apparently being about to ride roughshod over an area of natural beauty. Now, when you made the film, you didn't actually have Bill Forsyth's blessing. You went to the distributors. Bill Forsyth at the festival has just seen the film for the first time. Tell me how he reacted.
Well, he reacted in a way which I just couldn't have dreamt of, really. I mean, obviously, I was always very aware of the parallels in Local Hero, where Burt Lancaster plays the oil tycoon coming to a remote Scottish community wanting to build an oil refinery, and in You've Been Trumped we see Trump as the tycoon coming to a remote Scottish community wanting to build a golf resort. So there's a real parallel there which seemed very powerful to me and very important. And so I was very, very keen to use the clips in the film because I thought they would bring the audience in and bring this. Bill Forsyth had this tremendous foresight, really, when he wrote the script to Local Hero. Here we are in 2012 with this unfolding again, and basically hoped that Bill would then see the film, and now he has, and so it's an extraordinary moment for me when he came up to me afterwards and he said that he was delighted that the film was being used, that Local Hero was being used in the documentary.
Detained under Section 14 of Criminal Procedure Scotland Act 1995.
What's he done?
Stop doing that to me!
Did you ever feel that forces were militating against you, that there was any pressure coming from perhaps some of the groups who were criticised in the film?
Well, when the Edinburgh Film Festival refused to show what was the only Scottish documentary really being made that year, I mean, I was astounded simply because this is the most contentious planning decision in Scotland's history, bar none. And to me, I just felt it was an incredibly important Scottish story and one that was very important to document. And so when the festival, which is part funded by the Scottish Government, refused to show the film, I was just astounded. And we were told in an email, don't ring us for a reason why, because you won't get one.
They built the road on top of my spring, and I haven't had water for a week.
And here we are now, it's being broadcast on BBC Two in a peak time slot, which is pretty unprecedented for a film where the filmmakers essentially remortgaged his house to make it. So it's important in terms of getting it out to an audience, which is obviously what most filmmakers want to do. When the television company said they didn't want to finance the film, I still felt that we had a great opportunity which we followed through distributing it in cinemas, because as we've seen here at Screenplay, Bill Forsyth, seeing the film with an audience, understood, I think, the power of it in an audience. And so now we've done it ourselves, we've had it into cinemas, albeit in a more limited way than we'd have liked, but now it is going to be broadcast on the BBC, and I think the BBC has recognised that this is an important story, because I think all over the UK and all over the world, people are very concerned about money and power riding roughshod over the lives of ordinary people.
It's an important story. It's also a very well told story. You've Been Trumped is on BBC Two. Check it out. You will enjoy it, and it will leave you feeling really angry, but in a good way.
My home. I've stayed here for 43 years now, and he won't put me out of it.
His property is slum-like. It's disgusting. He's got stuff thrown all over the place. He lives like a pig.